company. I am the owner of D3 Agency, just really small agency based in Lausanne, Switzerland. I have more than 10 years experience with the Typo2 CMS and 1 year experience with Flow. And the project, the MediaLib TV project, is our first real project. We provide some video-on-demand solution for a film festival, so we have a lot of knowledge and experience with an application named Wusa Streaming Server. My name, yes, I'm the man behind the XLIF implementation in Typo 3.4.6 now. The poor leader of the translation team who don't have enough time to work enough on this point, but I hope that they will change in the next few months. Yes, the member of a really amazing family with a nice daughter that, yeah. I stopped to speak about myself and my company and short structure of the presentation. I will introduce the project, a small history, and I don't want to do a really technical presentation. I don't have code sample. I just want to show how Flow helps us to achieve the requirements of the application, the needs of our client. And after that I can do a small live presentation of the interface. The project starts something like 2 years ago in a film festival in Switzerland, where I speak with a movie distributor based in France who starts to digitalize the catalog, and they sell media files to public library in France. That's a cool project, but they have a lot of problems, like, okay, I sell MP4 files, and the client say, what I do with this file, how to stream it, how to secure the access to the stream, and building a video-on-demand platform, it's a huge project. You need an infrastructure, you need security check, it's not possible for a small public library to have their own video-on-demand service. So we start thinking about building something like small YouTube that can be shared between multiple small clients. And the discussion continues. We started first prototype of the project with Symfony 1.4. We abandoned the project for different reasons. And finally, we start the real project in September last year, with a really, really tight development period. The first goal was to have a private beta in the mid of November, and we decided to be as lean as possible. I don't want to lose time building feature that my client don't need. So I want to have a client, I have to have a real user as fast as possible. And we finally launched the product 5 weeks ago. So, the first question that we need to ask in a new project is what you need to do. This is the first user story. User need to watch movies. Nothing else. So it sounds simple, but real life is not simple. We have many different things to check in to put in place. This is the main feature of the application. It needs to be multi-domain, so we have only one instance of the application for all the customer. Everything is stored in one single MySQL database, so we need to be sure that the data from the client number 1 doesn't appear in the website of the client number 2. And this is the first challenge. We need to handle security access, and we need to communicate with our streaming server cluster. USA is based on Java, so we use Show for that. And we need to have a really clear back office with simple form. I don't have time to explain everything for every customer. Customer must discover feature by himself without 3-hour phone call for each new account to explain where is the feature and how it works. And one of challenge that it currently not completely achieves is having a way to customize completely the visual identity of the solution. So time to code and why Flow is really cool. It's that you can prototype an application, keep the focus on what's your domain, and don't start to lose time with logging, security, authentication. The first application, when we start the beta, we don't have any security. So I set up one application per client. So they look like, yes, it works, it's a multi-domain application, but no, currently it's just a single application per client. We implement this feature later during the development process, and without the content security and feature like that, it's not possible to do that. So my first contact with Flow was a bit more than 1 year ago. When I use the new tools, I love to read the code because I think that for me it's the best documentation and it's the best way to check if the project is well done in a nice way. Maybe Flow is just wow on this point. The consistency of the code is just amazing. They doesn't have I call this abstraction for abstraction. For example, in the Java world, sometimes there are too much abstraction and it's quite complex to understand how it works and why this fucking abstraction is useful. And in Flow, I think that the code is cool, the documentation becomes better and better every day, and yes, this is the first really cool point. I'm a bit afraid about the new concept like AOP, content security, and finally the learning curve is not so strong. I have a lot of experience with XBase and Fluid, and just with that knowledge you are able to produce a really nice application in Flow. AOP can come later, content security, I will speak about content security later. And the community support, thank you, really. The channel mailing list is just really active and having some review on Gary really fast. Yes, brief, thank you. As I said before, we try to be as lean as possible. So I build a feature, I deploy this feature, I ask my client if it works. If it doesn't work, I continue the loop until it works. And with Surf, continuous integration, some days I do something like 10 or 12 deployments with my clients on the phone, and it doesn't work, and it works. And compared to a type of trust CMS website, these loops can be really fast. So yes, it's not directly Flow that supports these loops, but it's the ecosystem that we have around Flow. So for the deployment, Git for the source management, and we had a continuous integration server because I'm not perfect, and no developer are perfect, and I think that regression is everywhere. It's quite cool to have the test running every time. So about quality insurance, currently we use only functional tests from the Flow package, and not enough unit tests. I need to work a bit more on this point. Yes, I speak about the slide during 5 minutes. We start this beta period with 3 clients. At the end of the beta period, that to 1 month, something like that, the 3 clients call me to say, as soon as you launch the product, I want it. So I think that working with our client in an early stage of a project, it's really important, and client like that to be inside the project, to see that the question and requirements are taken in the development process. It was a really intensive period, but really interesting. So now just some slide about the features that help us for each of the key features of the application. The multi-domain implementation, it's mainly based on content security and some IOP. It's amazing that my code, I don't write any piece of code to have this strict separation of content between each my client. I write maybe 100 lines in some IOP, and it works. And it works really, really, really nicely. After that, you have some missing feature. It's a way to manage the data without the content security. Sometimes we have some scripts to, for example, manage the statistic data, to do some MapReduce, some aggregation, or some global calculation. We cannot manipulate all the data. We need to fake, yes, I'm this domain, so I compute this domain data. Oh yes, I change the domain and I continue. So I don't know how can this feature be achieved, but having some sort of annotation in a repository or in method repository to say, no, this method I don't want to have. Or if I have this role, I don't have to have content security applied. Or if I'm in the command line, I don't want to have content security. Could be a really nice improvement on this area. Play token it's a feature of our service. All the content that our clients stream is film, documentary, and they have some license to respect. There are some limitation, for example, geographic limitation. Each user can only watch 3 hours of movie per week. Each session must be identified between our streaming server and the application. So we implement some things based on typo tree show, sorry. And during the project, we do a huge patch to have typo tree flow 2 support. And if somebody used typo tree, we broke one test, and I don't know why. So help is welcome for the last check on the test of this package. At the beginning of the project, I just have only an admin access. So I cross my finger and I say, okay, my client is okay to have just an admin access and can manage films, preferences, user, everything. 2 hours after the launch of the private beta, the 3 clients send an email and say, I need a user manager, I need a preference manager, I need a content manager, and I need to delegate this role to different users. At this moment I say, holy shit, I don't have time to work on that. So I spent a bit less than 12 hours dealing with policy security to implement different roles, adding some few helper in by view to hide the area that the user doesn't need to access. And that's it. 3 days after the private beta, we launch a new version where we have 3 or 5 different access levels for administration. And we had something like 10 or maybe 100 lines of code, mainly in the template part. This is when we start the first prototype of the project with Symfony 1.4. This is the part where I lose my hair lots of time. Handling complex form, it's complex. It's really complex. And at this time, Symfony 1.4 doesn't have a working solution to have this to achieve this requirement. So I was a bit afraid because currently 3D and Hypertra CMS have some limitation too in this area around validation and things like that. But in Flow, everything works really nicely, and we have, for example, the huge form who managed the film information that handles something like 12 different objects, and some are collections, and some had, yes, and that just works. We integrate Aloha editor. I can show you during the demonstration. We use it in the back office, and we use it also in the front office for some customization. And that was really, I hate rich text editor. I think that it's a broken concept since the beginning. It produces malformed code. It's complicated to integrate, and Aloha changed the way I think that we can do editing in a web environment. If you never try Aloha, you need to try it. It's just awesome. This is another requirement for a client. In the application, we have some common vocabulary. Yeah, this is the staff of the movie. This is the title of the section. And yes, this is just in XLib files, and it's provided like that. My client needs to customize this to use custom terms. So we do custom integration of Aloha, and when a manager is logged in the application, they can edit the static content and the stored in the database, and that works like an overlay in front of the translation system. And they can even, if they have a multi-language interface, they can even edit the French, change the language, edit the English, without problem. This is another customization needs. The application sends a lot of notification, user subscription, quota, system notification, etc. And we provide default templates that works, but our clients need to have some specific documentation, links to their resources, and they want to customize that. It's also based on Aloha editor, and I will show you a demonstration of how it works. We use some external service, like our main external service is the movie database. It's an open source version of IMDb. And for that we have built one package that's it's available on my personal GitHub page if you need it. And we built another nice package. This is T3 OEmbed. This is just a OEmbed customer with nice auto discovery. You just say, okay, I want this URL, you pass the source code and extract the content to have the embed player. This is mainly based around the browser of Flow and the curl engine that was introduced some months ago, and that's part of the 2.0. And the public API, that's currently not working because we don't need it at this point, but we have partially working API. It's only based on the REST controller of Flow with some reflection to configure it in a easy way. Yes, that's a piece of cake to have an API. Yeah. After I work on this project near full-time since a little bit more than 6 months, and I think that I can definitively say yes. Flow is the good things. It changed lots of things in how I work. I learned a lot of things, how to structure my projects, and Yes, read the code. Read the code and follow this. There are lots of nice convention. I started to use some flow convention to structure JavaScript application, and there are lots of really nice idea and yeah, cool framework. I can do a small demonstration if the Wi-Fi works. Oh, can I have a big screen? I can't. That's it. So this is the here. This is the welcome page of the application with quite traditional way to present video. Currently it's based on Bootstrap because we don't have too much time to spend on design. We pass more time to spend on user experience. And as we want to have a flexible way to customize this interface later on, we prefer to base the CSS around Bootstrap because it's just nice and so it works quite well. And one feature that's nice, if you log as an admin, no, you don't have it. And you go back to the homepage, you can see some movie that movie are just hidden or not in the state that the public can watch. This is just content security configuration. When your brain is ready, it works. And a small view helper to add the overlay and to add just links to go to the back office and edit things. So it's a nice feature and it doesn't cost us more than 1 hour to have this working. The view helper can be used for any type of object. I can use for a movie, I can use for news, I can use for topics. This is just a wrapper and I say, okay, object equal movies, and it builds the menu automatically. And while we have this kind of pictogram here, we can customize things to say, okay, my title, I prefer to have this. Let's finish. That's the inline editing is always wow effects when you present this to a client. And here we have another helper that it's do color extraction from the banners to help the customer personalize the color scheme of the application, and you can choose, okay, I want this, and it just save, and the CSS is built, and everything is customized for back office, front office. The application is not slow, that's the Wi-Fi. For the back office, here we have some links to do system management, watching statistics. For this part I need to speak with Rens. Maybe we need something like CouchDB because we have a huge amount of data in this part of the application, and I think that our MySQL server will be really unhappy in the next months. That's the back office interface where the user can have some useful shortcuts where you can manage the data. And this is the kind of Aloha integration. We have, for example, here it's a movie, so it's a private object. Each domain has their own movie collection. But here we have the credits of the movies, so who is the director, who is the actors, and these objects are not private. These objects are shared between all clients, because it's quite nice to don't have to create this for everybody. And this is just done with one annotation on the domain model, say, okay, this one is private. And that you can just, if you're lucky. Stop using the Wi-Fi, please. Yeah, it works. And now we have the management for the video files, who are mainly stored currently on S3 in Amazon Cloud Service. So it's just the front end in front of S3 cloud storage. And after that, yes, that's it. You have different type of content. You can do selection of movies, you can do actuality around your catalog, you can do some animation, and you can manage user. This is one of the bad things when we start working on the multi-domain feature. It's currently not possible, maybe a patch is pending, but I don't know. It's currently not possible to extend the flow security account. So we are not able to do private object for the subject. And that's a bad thing because, yes, this is user. It's quite important to have a specific user for each domain. So currently we have a short, small hack with just suffix with the current domain name, and it works perfectly. And it's also achieved with small AOP that remove the domain that remove the suffix from here, but that had the suffix automatically when the user try to log in or try a subscription. Certain of our clients have different departments in their institution, and they need to manage some quota, some user quota per department. So we had here a feature that the user can say, okay, I have an entity named 1, and I want to have 200 users on this entity, and in the user management, if you edit an account, a manager account, you can say, okay, this manager manage only this account, and quota is applied based on this configuration. And the last nice feature that everybody like, it's the personalization of the message that the application sends. Here you can each message is just a class in the application, a class and a template. It's just an annotation that says, okay, this class is named subscription request accept or something like that, and it's registered in the selector. You can choose which one you want to personalize, and if you have, and you have your mail template inside the current page, and you can come. Just customize it. And that's cool. And we implement this with a sort of two-time parsing of fluid template. So we have some magic marker that say, for example, for the header parts, it's fimage viewable, and we wrap it with the downsave HTML comment. And when the user save the template, this part is not saved as HTML, but as read. Like that we can reprocess during the message is sent to have the correct image if the client changed the image during this time. And the subject of the message is always the first header block in the message. You have each area can be defined as a table, but some area are fixed, and our editor is really flexible to achieve this kind of interface. can switch to another and continue customization. We work for a plugin for Aloha to handle the marker that the user can insert into the text. For example, for a subscription request, we have the username, the password, and the expiration date of the account that can be implemented. Currently, just a small marker like that are just converted before saving in Fluid, and we have our objects that are injected in the template. So that's it for the demonstration. So it's really fun that I spent 6 months in a project where I have only 3 pages in the front. But yes, I wait about a real project to learn Flow since now more than 1 year. Maybe this project is a bit too big to start, but finally I'm really happy with this Flow experience. I learn a lot. I start to push some bug fix commits, sometimes really stupid things, but yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I hope I can do more during the next month. Do you have any question, or if you want to have some code introduction or to check how it's done, I'm here until Sunday in the afternoon, so just ask.
What version of Flow is using now?
I called him the master last commit since 6 months. I forced myself to do a Git composer update every morning to see if everything worked. But that's not really comfortable, definitively. I dream about the 2.0, and I think that I will stay on the 2.0 branch for the next month. But it's possible to code on the master without breaking everything every day. During 6 months I have maybe 2 or 3 times really big problem where I lose 1 or 2 days, but not too much. The master is quite stable, and even if some huge feature are introduced, the stability of the system is nice. Question? Currently the search is just a simple query. We plan to use Elasticsearch for a more advanced feature. We have some requirement for our client that say, okay, I need some facet for by director or per country and some complex things. But hopefully we will work with Elasticsearch, I think.
Do you have only one server or more?
Sorry?
Do you have only one server? Is it hosted only on one server or more servers?
Currently, it's hosted on one server for the application and the database, and the streaming part is a bit more complex. It's just currently it's just 2 load balancer with 1 big storage backend, and we can add storage backend when we need it. Currently, it's not really loaded, but we take care to have nice monitoring to scale well, and we start working with Neuralink since now 3 weeks, something like that. We adapt an existing package to have some in-depth overview of what's happening in Flow in the Neuralink interface, and that's a really nice tool to check that everything works well, and to have one of the nice features about Neuralink is the possibility to have the statistic of the page loading, including rendering on the client side, downloading of image. And you can have this kind of statistic per country. So as currently my main clients are not in Switzerland, so I'm not on the same network, I don't have the same computer. Every time they call, they download the version of the navigator and they say, hey, it's slow. It's really important for me to check it. No, it's not slow. It's not, it took 2 seconds in in an average to load in Paris or in another country. No more questions. Darcy?
The Aloha integration in the front end, are you using a special pure
For the front-end integration, so where we can edit some simple label, we use a little bit hacky solution to avoid this nice palette. Because currently it's not possible in Aloha Editor to don't have the palette with the bold and other things. Even if you remove all the buttons, they load the palette but empty. So currently we just remove that for the front-end parts, and for the back-end it's just a raw Aloha Editor with custom, with nice build to try to have it as tight as possible, if it's possible to say tight for Aloha Editor. No more questions, so thank you. Yes.
Do you have rough numbers about the number of compiled users that the system is able to handle? I'm pretty impressed by the speed, because...
and this is a problem with the Wi-Fi. It's faster.
That's the main thing.
It's faster. The performance of Flow increased during the last 3 weeks by a factor of, I don't know, but a huge factor. And before that, we do some load testing with Siege, and we have something like 60 or 70 requests per second on the application without breaking everything and having a load that it's correct. So yes, no, I think that performance problem is not a problem. The only performance things that can be a bit disturbing is the performance in development mode. When I begin to work with Flow, I give it a nickname. This is the coffee framework. Sometimes you refresh your page, you go to the coffee machine, take a coffee, smoke a cigarette, and come back and yes, it's built. But that's not the case now. If you freeze correctly the package that you don't work with, even in development mode, it's just quite usable. If you have some problem with the performance in development mode, try to think that some developer work with C program. And why they want to build the application sometime like 30 minutes before having a binary. So it's not a problem to wait 1 or 2 seconds. I don't refresh the page every lines, and it has no more problem around performance. And I think that it can be improved. But I think that I have more improvement on my side to implement some caching, to avoid generating a model that appears on different page more than one time. Okay. I can improve the performance on my side, and Flow team works on something else. So thank you, and you have here my GitHub page. Many of the packages that we use for the application are available on my personal page currently, and they will move to the agency page during the next few weeks. So if you clone the repository, don't be afraid. It's just move. It does no disaster form.